The Guardians dish off Josh Bell to Miami. Welcome in. I'm Kainani Stevens, Justin Lada from Locked On Guardians with us. You've been busy, so we'll get to the latest of the trades, or the closest to the deadline at least. Josh Bell's headed to Miami. In your mind, is this addition by subtraction, something that didn't work out? How are you kind of looking at that immediate reaction?
Yeah, the deal with Josh Bell certainly did not work out the way the Guardians had hoped. They did just trade for Kyle Manzardo from the Rays yesterday, and he looks to be a guy who will get at bats at first base, if not sometime later this year, certainly next year. And they already have Josh Naylor, who's having a good season, so there wasn't room for all three of those guys. And like I said, the Josh Bell deal was just not quite working out for them. So able to move him to a team that felt like he could do something with him this year, and the Guardians create some space and add a prospect and save a little bit of money in the process.
Yes, Segura's already cut. Do you know much about the prospect that you got in return, or is that just something you'll work on in the coming days?
Yeah, no, Watson's a really good prospect. I mean, there were people in the 2021 draft who felt like he was a top 10 talent, and he slid a little bit on draft day due to some character concerns, kid stuff, being immature, but uber talented, question about hit tool, but an electrifying talent, very athletic. So, you're kind of betting on all those things coming together. And if everything does come together, there's a lot of people who feel like he could be a superstar type talent. So he's, still a teenager, maybe close to 20 years old and a few years away, but certainly worth the gamble as the Guardians can also get out from under some money and add a prospect as well.
You can sometimes tell how the front office feels about a season based off what they do at the trade deadline. What would you take away from the moves that the Guardians made the last week or so?
Things did not go as planned this year. They definitely expected to contend this year. They obviously won the division last year, and they went out and they made 2 free agent signings. They got Mike Zunino to catch, and they signed Josh Bell, looking for a little bit of a middle of the order power they kind of lacked last year. Neither of those moves worked out. Both those guys are on, Mike Zeno's out of the league currently. Josh Bell's now on a new team. They clearly did not want to be stuck with him next year, as he's probably going to pick up his player option. So clearly this season did not go as planned for them. So they are looking to, see how things go the rest of the year, and then they're going to pivot to 2024 and beyond.
Is it a full, reboot? Is it kind of like a mini retool? Like, how would you see, what's the best case scenario for the back end of the season going into next year?
Because the AL Central is kind of baseball's JV division right now, it's still winnable. The Twins swapped relievers with the Marlins. They didn't even add a reliever. So the Twins did pretty much nothing at the deadline. The Guardians didn't add to the major league team either. So both these two teams are just kind of in wait and see mode the rest of the year. The division may come down to whoever's playing the best the final 2 weeks of the season, truthfully, the way things have been going so far. I think both teams, the Twins and the Guardians included, are just looking to see how they can improve for next year. I think the expectation for Cleveland should still be to go out and win the division next year. They are still the youngest roster in Major League Baseball. They're going to be the youngest roster again next year because they'll likely add Kyle Manzardo, and they'll probably have some more younger pitchers coming up as well. So they are still focused on winning next year with the young core, but they have to find a better way to develop. They took a step back this year.
All right, a lot of movement, Justin. We appreciate you as always. You'll check in with Locked On Guardians for a full recap of all the deals that went down.